Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne's Sharp World, where today we're taking a look at the recent collaboration between Drop and Gareth Bull. This is the Drop Gareth Bull Miura. Before I go any further in this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now let's take a look at some specifications on this knife right here. We have an overall length of 7.3 inches with a blade length coming in at 3.2 inches, blade width at 0.8 inches with a cutting edge as well at 3.2 inches. We have a blade thickness of 0.12 inches, so a pretty nice thin blade with a blade steel of S35 VN. Very nice drop point design with a hollow grind and a handle length coming in at 4.2 inches with a handle thickness right at that half-inch mark. Very, very nicely done there, with a handle width right around 0.77 inches and handle material of rosewood. Got a lot to say about these rosewood scales. Very, very nice. A user of tip-up right-hand only carry, a weight of 2.6 ounces, which is very, very pocket-friendly for the size of this knife. Very well balanced. Very well balanced. As I mentioned, this is designed by Gareth Bull of South Africa, manufactured by We Knives, who I consider to be the best Chinese production manufacturer, and a price coming in at $225. Now, let's take a look at some size comparisons. This is say it right off the bat, very, very, very nice gentleman's carry. We're going to compare it to a couple of my other more favorite front flippers. This is the Booz Blade Smoke. And this right here, you guys all know it, the Kaiser Genie. Stick that right there. And as you can see, I was actually surprised myself when I lined these three knives up together as I was kind of like previewing what I was going to bring to you guys. And I was still surprised that this was shorter than these three. And in my head, I was just I knew the Smoke was a little longer, but I thought it was like almost exactly the same as the Genie. And the Genie is actually, I mean, looking at it here, I would say it's noticeably considerably longer. So it's kind of deceiving when you have this Miura in hand, but man, it does, it's a very, very, very nice gentleman size carry. Not too big, not too small, just very, very sleek. Here's a couple other ones. The Spyderco Ikuchi, very underrated Spyderco. Another excellent EDC right here, the Quiet Carry Waypoint. So as you can see, very, very close to the Waypoint. The Waypoint has just a little on it. Probably the best comparison really is with the Waypoint. Ergos this is a little thinner in hand, but very, very good comparisons right there. Now let's get to talking about this beautiful little knife right here. And we'll start off with the drop point. And it's not very often that I say unique drop point, but this is absolutely that. It definitely has that Gareth Bull flair to it. Some people would consider this a spear point. I definitely consider it a drop point because it's not super symmetrical. So to me, it is pretty easily considered a drop point. The grind lines are just real attractive with that full swedge that goes, probably a quarter down the blade. Takes a lot of weight out of it, and just nice. There's really nothing bad about this blade whatsoever. Nice minimal branding. You have your blade steel right there along with the Gareth Bull logo, which is pretty cool. It's in a very nice spot. Like the way it sits on that black coating. Just very attractive. Very nice jimping up here, as well as somewhat of a ramp to put your thumb on. We'll hit more on this in the ergos and how that all works together. There could be a little improvement made here that I'll cover when we get to the action, actually. But no, overall, very, very nice blade with a hollow edge that comes down, or a hollow grind coming down to an edge of right about 13 thousandths. I measured a couple different spots with the calipers. I was getting 13 to 13.5 thousandths. So very, very impressive grind there. Very well done by We, as usual. And that is pretty much it for the blade. What do you guys think of this, Gareth? But do you prefer this blade design or the chamois blade design? I for the longest time did prefer the chamois, but now that I've actually have this in hand and see it in person, I don't know. I feel like I may be leaning towards this Miura blade shape. Not not totally sure. What I am sure about now that I have this knife in hand was just how well this black blade goes with the rosewood and bronze titanium. I wasn't sure about that, and it goes together surprisingly well. Very happy with the overall appearance of this knife. I thought the black blade was just gonna kind of make it a little iffy for me, but when I think about it and, ask myself, would I prefer a satin blade? I don't know if I would, and I very rarely say that. So I like it. I like the way the color scheme works together here. It's pretty nice, and I was not totally expecting to say that. So I'm happy I can. As for the handle and ergos, the ergos on this are really, really, really good. The only reason I'm not calling them great is the way you have the cutout up here for your index finger, which is very nice, and the ramp with the jimping, which is also very nice. I feel like my hand is a little cramped towards the back of the knife. And again, it's not a big knife. It's, I have, I don't exactly have small hands. So maybe that's just, kind of common sense that, one and one gets two. That's kind of what I'm getting here. But it just feels a little cramped, but it's not. It's still nothing. I still enjoy holding this knife in hand, fidgeting with it, carrying it. Not necessarily a knock on it, just kind of my personal preference when it comes to how a knife feels in hand, but it still feels really good. It does, it hugs your hand pretty well. I just wish I had like another half inch, but then if I did, that you'd have not nearly as good of blade to handle ratio as you do now, which is very good on this one. Very good indeed. As for the pocket clip, very nice, unique pocket clip. Bronzed hardware, bronze titanium clip, I believe. And the way it sits in the back here, the execution and precision of the clip to the rosewood, and I really like what they did here was they put the screw in backwards, so you have to take it apart up here and here to be able to get the screw out, obviously because there's no hole there, and I like that because it looks nice as a solid clip. So you got to take the knife apart a little more to get the pocket clip separated, but I do like that. I like the way they did that, and they did just such a good job of making that smooth. Very, very smooth. Obviously goes into the pocket like a dream. The clip retention is very good, so it holds very well. Just excellently done by Wii, as well as these rosewood scales. I was kind of worried when I saw the picture of the rosewood version on drop. It had kind of like a grainy blotch towards the back of the handle, and I was like, I don't like that. But I really didn't like the other option, which was just all black, carbon fiber black blade. That was a little boring. I always wanted a nicer knife with some type of wood handles, so I just kind of took a chance, hoping that the grain would be nice on the version I got, and it is. It couldn't be any better, in my opinion. I love this rosewood. Is not doing anything too crazy, but you can still see the grain, pretty nice even lines. Just a fantastic example I got. Really, really good here. Excellent job. The only issue I have with the fit and finish of this knife, and it's kind of annoying, because as I pointed out back here with the clip, how everything is nice and flush and just, it looks perfect. It really does look absolutely fantastic. You get to the back here, and you can see it right here, just how off the rosewood to the liners are. Just not good. It's really not good. I would call it bad, which is very unlike Wii. Very, very un-Wii-ish to have that big of an uneven finish on both sides, from the rosewood scales to the liners. So that was disappointing to see. With that being said, you can't notice it right here. You don't really see it in hand like that. It's one of those things to where I know it's there, and I know how much I paid for this knife. So you kind of, that never sits well. So I do hope they improve that in the future. But other than that, the fit and finish on this knife is very, very good. as for the action, I'm just going to say it. This is the best, the smoothest action on a front flipper, and really any knife I've ever experienced, especially for as light as this blade is. This is a very light blade, and to close it and just watch it fall shut like that is very, very impressive. It's smoother than the Genie you saw. It's smoother than the Smoke you saw. It's really, you can do the index finger pull just as nice. The only change I would make, and this does relate to the action more so, you see this jimping up here? You see, now the jimping that's on here is perfect jimping. Absolutely love it. Couldn't be any better. But it stops up here. It stops towards the top. And when you open the knife and you look back here, you can see there is more room to add jimping. You can add probably 3 more lines there, maybe even 4. And that's very important for this reason here. And I'm going to bring out another knife that I reviewed. I believe this was posted on Sunday. This is the QSP Gareth. And see how there's jimping all the way to the top on the top up there? That makes it a lot easier to deploy this blade, because when it's sitting so low, as I mentioned in the video, you have to really go up top. And that jimping helps, the top on the jimping helps. The top jimping on the top of the flipper tab, the top somewhere with jimping somewhere, it helps bite your thumb. And you don't have that with this. So sometimes if you're kind of in a hurry to deploy the blade and I put my thumb on top, it can slide and it won't actuate it. As to where with that Gareth, you get a lot more traction up top. That's real important when you have a minimal front flipper tab. Now I like this. I've got no issue with the way they design this tab, but this needs more jimping up here. Now again, I can do this pretty easily because I'm very well acquainted with front flippers, and it's not a huge problem for me. But I'm just saying, you probably don't want this to be your first front flipper, because it won't be a great experience, even though it is wicked smooth. But I wish it had a little extra jimping right up there. You get it right up towards the top, maybe even going back to, I'm assuming that line is maybe where it's hitting the little insert back there. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, so really, in my opinion, there should be jimping all the way up to that little wear out line there. If they had jimping going all the way up there, this knife, mark my words, I guarantee it would be, I would say, a lot easier to deploy, because you just have to think a little less about where exactly you're placing your thumb when you go to deploy it. So that would be a small improvement they could make that would perfect the action of this knife. And there's really not much to poke about this action. Like I said before, it really is just, it's one of the best actions I've ever experienced on a knife, and I didn't think for a second I was going to say it on this. I'm not surprised, since it was made by We, but it's so good. Just as good on deployment as it is on close, but when it goes to close, you don't, it is glassy. It is absolutely buttery, glassy. I haven't been able to call a knife butter in a long time. This is every bit butter. This is freaking melted butter. It is fantastic. Really love the action on this knife. Outside of the jimping and the little issue here on rosewood, or the wood to liner alignment, I don't really have anything bad to say about this knife. It's fantastic. I'm sure Drop is going to be making another run of these. It is currently sold out, but if you go to Drop, sign up for the email notifications of when they're available again. If you like front flippers, or if ever wanted a Gareth Bull production piece, this is an absolute fantastic one. It really is. It's just great. And I'll even go out to say, even if they didn't change the jimping, even if you did still have a little misalignment here, which still isn't great, but I still love this knife. This is easily, I just put a video out of my favorite front flippers, and it's already out of date, because even with the Gareth too, the Gareth would have been in there, but this would have been very, very high up there. This is easily a top 3. Easily. If not, I don't know if it could push Pena out of the top spot, but it'd be giving it a real strong run for its money. This is a fantastic front flipper, a fantastic piece overall, very attractive, unique design. and definitely worth checking out if it's something that floats your boat. So that is the drop Gareth Bull Miura. Let me know what you guys think. Do you prefer the Miura or the Chamois? I feel like everyone has an opinion on that because Gareth Bull's, as everyone knows, a pretty renowned maker. So let me know, what do you think? Do you want a production Chamois or a production Miura? Look forward to hearing your guys' response on that. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and until the next one, I'm out.